Hey, it's Streaming or Day One Slants. It's me, 5Ghost1000, coming to you with a video. In this video, like I said in the announcements video, I am doing SAO elemental golems. Well, pretty much golems and elemental hybrids, and well, I'm making 6 this video. Three elemental golems out of previously made golems and elementals, preceded by a new golem, a new elemental, and a elemental golem hybrid out of those two. So without further ado, let's roll intro, let's go into this video, and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Man, those creatures were bloody hard to kill. That's a bloody good thing I found those. Okay. Audio's on. That's good. Okay. It's me, Karma. And I'm exhausted because I was having to hunt down 3 very powerful creatures. Some that actually give me a run for my money. But first off, I need to talk about 3 other creatures I found beforehand that actually helped me kill these off. That were getting a little too powerful, and they are quite a nightmare to deal with, even for Demos. Yeah. Blood. Great. Of course, I have one in my chest. Anyways, the first creature is actually, for the record, these are most hybrids, so they're pretty powerful. They are elemental golems, so they're even more powerful. So we have the Flaming Katana Crystal Weapon elemental golem, or better known as the Flaming Katana Samurai. You see, this guy, he more or less is. These creatures are more or less very adept in fire magic. They are the offspring of a crystal weapon fire golem. What was those things called again? I've researched and gone over so many creatures, I've lost count. They got their red blade from their Flaming Katana Crystal Weapon Golem parent, and they got the rest of their body from the fire elemental, the Flaming Samurai. Now this one is about twice as powerful as both of them together, as an artificially created one. They're just an utter nightmare to deal with in actual hand-to-hand combat fight. And for the record, if most of y'all wondering why people are able to talk like this so easily, well, saying the very long names, is because on average, a lot of people have a genius level IQ in this world. Very rarely do they drop below over 130. Some people consider dumb or around 125. So, yeah, it's quite hard to find someone that has an IQ of an 85. So, it also explains why we're pretty advanced compared to other worlds like Techworm Coals. Let's get to the next one. This next one was more or less one of the more powerhouses of the ones that helped me in my fight. This one was the hybrid of the fire elemental that was known as the Rapier Fire Speed, and the golem known as Lightning Flash Golem. This hybrid is known as the Lightning plus Fire Flash Rapier Crystal Weapon Elemental Golem, or Lightning plus Fire Flash Rapier. It's a very fast and strong Elemental Golem. Their body actually does float on rocks, but it does have the ability, but it's also made up of fire due to its fire golem nature. Thing also can shoot little lightning bolts out, and when it comes in contact with something, it immediately erupts into flames. So going from plasma to lesser plasma, in other words. And trust me when I say, you come across one of these things, you piss it off, you ain't gonna live much longer. This one mostly helped with supplying a good volt of electricity to some of the more powerful of the two. Why does blood always keep appearing? It's pretty annoying, literally. These are, well, might as well start telling you what happened. So, as I was traveling, I first came across the first creature I talked about, then the second one, this one. They are very intelligent creatures, so they were able to tell me they were tracking some creatures that were a golem, elemental, and an elemental hybrid. It was actually a family. And I might be thinking, now, Karma, this is way too cold for even you. And I hunt a lot of creatures, some good, some bad. That was the old me, for the record. But you don't get it. These creatures are known as the hellish creatures. In other words, if left unchecked, their powers could rival that of a demon's. Like, I'm talking not even a Seven Princes of Hell, somewhere on the long lines of half between Seven Princes of Hell and Satan himself levels of power. So, yeah, do not criticize me when I say I killed these things, no remorse. So, anyways, as we were traveling, they started telling me more about these creatures. Some things I already knew, and some things I didn't know. Then we came across a creature that was farther ahead of the two, because it was actually the strongest out of the three. It's a hybrid that's known as the Obsidian Dual Crystal Weapon Elemental Golem, or Obsidian Dual Crystal Weapon. Y'all immediately most likely be able to recognize this is a hybrid of the Earth Elemental Obsidian Dual Blade and the Dual Crystal Weapon Armed Golem. Trust me when I say that this creature is not to be trifled with, especially when it has the ability to do that Starburst Stream attack 5 times more powerful than its two parents. So, yeah, it's a nightmare to deal with you're a bad guy and you piss the thing off. It's very rare to find creatures like this that are evil. And when you do, they're usually corrupted. But trust me, the creatures I'm going to be talking about next one is not a pretty one. So we continued to travel and eventually came into more of a mountainous region that had a little foliage around it with a good amount of mountains around in the back. We started to make our way to the mountains where we first came across the trio at first. I thought they were your regular armored golems and maybe a hybrid elemental and a regular elemental golem, but soon I decided to look at the energy layouts and I immediately regretted it. I sensed more power coming from these things than somehow more than a LL tier demost. Meaning these things were stronger than an LL tier. They were like an LN tier at best. Meaning, at full power, they can take out this entire world easily. They would die from it, but trust me, it's no fun. So we decided to devise a plan. The plan went like this. First, the Flaming Katana Samurai would draw their attention and launch a few Fire Blades attacks on them, hopefully to damage them, followed by a lightning fire flash rapiers, followed by their lightning attacks, hopefully more concentrated that could stay at pretty high temperatures, and then a starburst stream coming from the obsidian dual crystal weapons. And that's what we could hope for. Now, we managed to have our attacks hit the first creature that was closest to us. It was the Elemental Golem. And when I realized that it hit the Elemental Golem, I realized we were screwed. The thing was strong. But its golem parent decided that it would go first. Trust me, if it wasn't for those three, I would be nearly incapacitated at the moment. This thing had a dark, three-clawed hand on it that when I checked its energy layout, the thing itself had energy layout very similar to that of a Techaworm. These things have the ability to stop the powers from either an Overseer or an Overseer's child. So, really freaking nasty. Especially for someone like me. I'm lucky the Elementals don't have that ability. But their ability is just as deadly. So, it launched it directly at me, seeing that I was the biggest threat and needed to be incapacitated. My regenerative factor is a hereditary trait, for the record, meaning everyone in my family has a regenerative factor. It cannot be shut off. It can only be weakened. And the only reason why I have that wound in my stomach at the moment, for the record, it is now, like I was saying, that's the only reason why. And my regenerative factor is now only starting to kick back in. Barely pierced my stomach. And I might be thinking, why don't you have this stitched up? I do. I just have the ability to sense where it nearly hits. I can tell you any place where the injury is forced at. You can literally stab me 3 times, different depths, and I can tell you which one is the worst without even looking at it. Like, middle on my, right below my armpit. Between my armpit and hand, I can tell you like that. And that's exactly where that motherfricker hit its claw. I gasped in pain, and my overseer powers from my father were disabled. And that is about a good chunk of my mana reserves as well. So, I managed to summon up an energy blast directly at the thing's face. I knew a golem's weak spot was its eye, and the thing made a brutal mistake of getting too close to me. I grabbed it in the face and shot the voltage directly through, bolting it and blowing it up. And for the record, that energy layout was dark magic. A very, very rare form, only accessible to human variants and these variant of creatures. They are freaking strong and freaking annoying. Now, the next one was about, not as difficult, but still a giant pain in the arse in its own way. Every slash from this one stole some life energy from me. Hence the reason why I'm weak as well. This thing is a hybrid elemental. It's a hybrid elemental of water, fire, and earth, also known as the hellish life-ending elemental hybrid, or hellish life-ending elemental hybrid. Yeah, this thing is strong. Due to its ability to... It's a hybrid of water, fire, and earth. It has the ability to control your blood, body, and pretty much control you to a certain degree. But if it kills someone with it, its very life energy that was keeping the thing alive, not the soul for the record, would be transferred into the blade, making it stronger. And the energy layout, when I looked at it, I realized that its core was a core that was very rare of creatures. It had a boosting core attached to its original core of soul absorptions. So there are no clue how hard it is to make one of those things. I can't even fathom how powerful things are, because I don't want to make a creature that has that ability, but I think I might have to. Well, anyways, this thing managed to get a good gash on my shoulder. But, man, it stole a good chunk of my mana, aka my life energy. And its blade became a tad bit more powerful because tad bit compared to how much power it already had. It was quite a chunk. So, yeah. You were now dealing with a creature that had just drawn blood from the son of an overseer. It is not gonna be fun. I couldn't find the weak point on it. Usually the energy layouts point these things out. But this one, due to having absorbed so much life energy from so many creatures, almost all of its weak points are usually not going to be working like that. But I managed to do fine. That the weapon itself is actually a weak spot. No matter how much life energy it takes in, it's a very thin field of energy around it. That's quite easy to break. What I did was I coated my sword. I did my blade and coated as much energy as I could into it without passing out, and leapt at the thing, slashing that arm clean off, lifting that arm up and shoving it into its face, absorbing its own life essence into its blade. I now have that thing locked away in my personal vault in my base right beside me to make sure that thing won't come back. And yes, I have its head. I kept the head and the blade that's stuck in it. Let's get to the final one. Now for the last one, it was the thing that took all three of those attacks, albeit at pretty mid-level attack power. It still tanked them and was only, from what I could tell, about missing a quarter of its full health. This thing was the hybrid I was talking about earlier. It is the Hellish CA Life Enders. That's what their most common name are. Or the Hellish Cloaked and Armored Life-Ending Elemental Golem. Their parents are the Hellish CA Golem or Hellish Cloaked and Armored Golem, and the Water plus Fire plus Earth Elemental Hybrid Hellish Life-Ending Elemental Hybrid. So, yeah. This thing fits it pretty well. This thing is pretty heavily armored and has a cloak and it has both parents' abilities, the bloody sword and the stupid claws. That thing grabbed me by the head, luckily didn't injure anything, and brought its blade up. I managed to to draw my blade, to summon my blade to my hand because I dropped it when it picked me up, and redirect the blow away from my shoulder blade because I did not want another injury. I then proceeded to summon a good amount of strength enhancing magic and punched its other arm that was grabbing a hold of me, and I leapt back, summoning some domestic rock, which is what I can do even when I'm at literally no mana, and chunked it at the thing. I hit this thing square in the face. Although it did pierce the eye, the thing still got up with its eyes cracked. It was still coming at us because I misread, and it turns out he hit the eye and both hands. Turns out both of them are very powerful, and I had my newly acquired friends, those elemental golems, help me with it, and together we managed to pierce its hand, blowing it clean off. By blowing it off, I mean, like, we blew off the crystal, because if we just took away the arm, the water would just go stretched out and grab the arm. But then it proceeded to come at us with its blade, and if it wasn't for the Flaming Katana Samurai, I also wouldn't have been here. It leapt into the way and had the top of its blade chopped off. It started to absorb that power, but I was lucky enough because during this time, it always lowers its force field to actually get it a lot faster, especially in a fight. So I blew its blade clean off of its hand and proceeded to punch it in the face, over and over and over again, until it was nothing but a pile of rubble. Now I am back home, and I am thinking about giving these 3 names. So, wish me luck, because this ain't gonna be fun when I bloody wake up. I'm gonna be sick tomorrow. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time I got for today, and I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Until next time, subscribe today to join the Spikers Dummy or Demoss Alliance. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.